Hey, this is Hubert from Ice's Cardfight team, here with another deck profile. Tonight I will be demonstrating a clan that's called Narukami, and basically it's a beatdown control deck. So with that information, without further ado, let's get on with the deck profile. My starter is Lizard Soldier Saishin. What this card does is when you ride a Narukami unit on top of this, you can move it to an open rearguard circle. Um, this card is really good, and I'm surprised it's not as popular as I want it to be. Um, and I'll explain why in a second. The secondary effect of this card first is when you boost a unit and the attack is successful on your opponent's vanguard, you can counterblast one and you may destroy your opponent's grade 0 or lower card. Now, most people are already thinking that your opponent's grade 0. That doesn't really do you much, does it? Well, I beg to differ. So what this card is good for is that this card automatically is free pressure on your opponents. A lot of clans have starting vanguards that move to the back row, which is snipeable by this card here. It's just some cards to mention are Crimson Lion Cub Criff, Spring Breeze Messenger, Mecha Trainer, Conroe. Those cards are often found in a lot of top tier clans or whatnot, and they're just really troublesome to deal with. So this is like your perfect counter almost. It just equalizes out. So I prefer to run this over the more popular Spark Kid Dragoon. What this card does is once you counterblast one, you may look at the top 5 cards in your deck, and if there is a grade 3 Narukami, you may put that into your hand. So this card is really situational, and I really dislike that, and also that it's a 4K boost. 4K boost is really bad in this game. I don't really like it that much. It's really situational. I prefer this card just because you automatically get pressure, and 5K boost isn't terrible. So if you were to ask me, I like this card. Alright, moving on to trigger lineup. I have 4 draw triggers, Old Dragon Mage, 4 heal triggers, Demonic Dragon Nymph Sabo, 4 crits, Malevolent Jin. This card effect is once you play this on the field or during your act phase, you may soul charge this and you may add 3k power to any unit on your field. So the ability is not that bad. It's pretty decent. This is your average crit trigger. It's 5k. Yellow Gem Carbuncle. So that's your average crit. So I run 4 draws, 4 heals, 4 crit. Basically, this deck, you just want to be aggressive all the time. Control your opponent. For grade 1, I run 3 Red River Dragoons. This is your generic 8k beater for this deck. My opinion is that 8Ks are staples in every deck people play. So there it is, 3. Next, I run 4 Desert Gunner Ryans. This card is really good. It's 7k boost or hit, and what this card does is once you play it on the field, you may stop one of your opponent's grade 2s and stop them from intercepting. So late game, this card is a game changer. It automatically blocks a 5k hit without having to kill it. So it's just so good, so good. That's why I won 4. I decided to run 4 of this instead of 4 8k boosts just because I thought this utility was really good. So moving on, I run 2 Dragon Dancer Rise. This is a specific booster. Once it boosts a card named Thunderbreak Dragon. You may Soul Blast 1 and it gets plus 4k. So it's a 10k boost. Really good. And in the words of Chan from Difference of Skill, a really cute card. Alright, moving on. I run 2 Photon Bomber Wyverns. What this card does is it's just it's your 10k boost behind a Vanguard, and its requirement is unconditional for Narukami. So its condition is once this unit boosts a Vanguard, if your opponent is at 3 or more damage, it gets plus 4k. So that's not really a hard to meet requirement, is it? This is a really good 10k boost. Like I said, it's non-situational. Your opponent's going to be at 3 damage sometime in the game. It's going to make you hit for ridiculous numbers. Right. Moving on, I run 4 Wyvern Guard Golds. This card is your perfect guard for Narukami. Pretty self-explanatory. Drop a Narukami card, play this in the Guardian Circle. It negates an attack for that battle that your opponent attacks. So, pretty good. Pretty standard also. 4. On to grade 2s. I run 4 Thunderstorm Dragoons. This is your generic 10k hit for Narukami. You want to hit big numbers all the time, and 10k hits are just makes it easier for you. Pretty easy. I run 4 Demonic Dragon Berserker Garuda. What this card does is once this attack hits a Vanguard, you may flip over a damage in your damage zone. In a counterblast heavy deck that is Narukami, this card does work. It does so much. Not only does it poke your opponent for a decent amount in front of a good booster, but it forces your opponent to think whether you really want that counterblast or not. You can start playing mind games or whatever, but this card can poke just all day long. And the more counterblasts you have in this deck, it's just easier for you to win. Next, I run 3 Dragonic Death Scythe, and what this card does is once you play this card onto the Vanguard or Rear Guard, you can counterblast 2, and you can destroy your opponent's grade 2 or lower Rear Guard. Goes back to the idea of control. This controls your opponent's field by getting rid of card for free, really. Complemented with Garuda, you can just do this and let Garuda hit, and I mean, free skill, essentially. But this is really helpful for getting rid of pesky grade 1 boosters or anything that can be a nuisance to you. It's just a free +1. Next, on to grade 3s. I run 1 Jin of Lightning Flash. This card has 3 effects. First, it cannot hit anything besides your opponent's Vanguard. Its second effect is that if you play this card into the Vanguard circle, it gives you plus 4,000 for attacking your opponent's Vanguard. This card is just meant to swing all day long at your opponent. It's going to make him guard for a ridiculous amount of numbers, and it's just so good. Its third effect is once you play this into your rear guard, you get plus 2k for hitting your opponent's Vanguard. So again, it's really easy to hit good numbers with this card. You're just being super aggressive, just a really big beat stick. So yeah, moving on. I run 2 Thunderbreak Dragons, and this is a card I was talking about earlier, that you can boost this card with. So this card, what it does is once you play this card onto your Vanguard circle, you may counterblast 2 and get rid of your opponent's Vanguard. I wish. Your opponent's grade 2 or lower rear guards. This also brings up the idea of control. You get to get rid of your opponent's card, and if you're at 4 damage, this card allows you to get a free plus 5k for attacking your opponent's Vanguard. So not only do you hit for a good amount of number in the late game, you can get rid of a card of your opponent's, and it's just a really good plan B, in my opinion, for Narukami. Yeah. Onto the heart and soul of this deck, I run 4 Dragonic Kaiser Vermilions, and you know, with the rule of having 4, one's gotta be SP. It's so shiny. So this card is like, it's the heart and soul of the Narukami deck. This card is amazing in its own right. It's very good. I'll start explaining why. This card, when you're at limit break 4, you may counterblast 3, and this unit gets plus 2k in your Vanguard circle. So, your Vanguard. Once you declare your attack with this card in limit break, you attack your entire opponent's front row. So they have to guard 3 cards if they want to keep all 3. And that's a lot of shield. And, you know, like I said, if you have Photon Barn Wyvern boosting your Dragonic Kaiser, you're hitting 23 on your opponent's front row. That's an insanely high number, and it's super good. So much pressure, so much control on what your opponents play. It's just meant to overwhelm and overpower your opponent. So with that, that is my Narukami deck profile. If you like what I do, please like, comment, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. And yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.